Whee! Today on Call for Help.
Everybody, do it with me. Whee! It's going to be a fun show today. Hey, thank you so much for being here. This is Call for Help. I'm Leo Laporte, your Call for Helper. And this is the show where we explain how technology works. Episode 479. And technology can be a lot of things. Of course, it could be a computer, but it could also be MP3 players. It could be game consoles like the Wii. It could be cell phones. It could be home theater. If it's got a chip in it, if it's for fun or work or play, it's on this show today. Wow, all right. Must be that rap song we've got on the website. Just putting me in the mood. Ladies and gentlemen, our co-host today, Callie Lewis.
Hey!
From Geek
Wee.
Brief. Wee! The Wee girl.
all day.
I love it. Isn't it? You know, it's funny. We mocked them when they first came out with that name. Wee. What is that? W-I-I.
Right.
Was
But
smart, wasn't it?
It was very smart.
Everybody wants to say wee.
Exactly.
I think they've gotten more press coverage just because reporters want to go wee. We're gonna cover it in a great detail because Sean Carruthers has been playing with it. You've been playing with it.
All of us have been playing with it.
And
It's
we're
a
having
bunch of
great fun. It is, you know, clearly the most fun of the big three game machines
definitely.
out there. I mean, I don't think there's any question about
Right.
that. It may not be the best looking,
Right.
may not have the most advanced features, but boy, you can't beat it for fun. You're also going to talk about your Optimus Mini 3.
Yes.
What the heck is that?
You know, you've been skeptical about Art Lebedev's studio. I've been skeptical about it.
No.
Everybody's been skeptical about
They
it.
actually have a product?
They actually have a proof of concept.
Oh, a proof of and you've got it.
It's a product, yes.
All right, well, we're going to see it for the first time ever. This is the company, the Russian company,
Yes.
that I really thought was scamming us. I mean,
Right.
they said, we're going to make a keyboard that's got OLED screens on every key, and it'll be
Supposed to be
programmable,
gorgeous.
And
Yeah.
they wouldn't say what price, but they said something like a cell phone, and maybe a very expensive cell phone, I don't know. Anyway, you've actually got one. You must have connections,
Well, it's
Kelly.
not the actual keyboard. It's the mini version of it.
I'll be
but
glad
yeah.
to see anything out of Art Lebedev. That's great. Also, Mohit is here. Mohit is Movie Mohit Rajans, who is our esteemed segment producer, but also is a screenwriter. And he uses some screenwriting software to create his scripts. If you've ever thought about writing a screenplay, there's a very specific format you have to follow. I think you guys, aren't you and Neil thinking about doing a little screenwriting?
I don't know about a screenplay, but we have looked into it.
I
like
know you're
what's
working on a
involved.
novel, and I think
Right.
that'd be the next step when they option it. And you got to write the
yeah.
screen. Anyway, this program will help you do all that, so
Okay,
stay tuned.
I'll be
And by the
definitely
way,
watching.
it works on Mac as well as Windows.
Nice.
Let's get our first call of the show on.
Absolutely. Dave is on from Brooklyn, Ontario.
Hello, David.
Hi, Leo. Hi, Callie. How you doing?
Great, how are you?
We're wonderful. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Say hello to Basil Coward on camera number 1, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Dave, what is your call for help?
Leo, currently I'm a Windows user.
Okay.
And I'm looking into purchasing a MacBook Pro.
All right.
The problem I'm having is I understand that Mac's coming out with a new operating system.
Right. Leopard.
Sometime this year.
Yep.
Yeah, Leopard.
Yep.
And I'm wondering if I should purchase now with OS X 10.
Right.
And upgrade later, or should I wait it out and pick up Leopard when it gets here?
That's kind of the perennial question in technology in general. Should I
Yes.
buy now or wait? And it's always, you know, the case that if you wait, something new, better, cheaper will come along.
Yes, yes.
In this case, what are you saving? Well, you're saving the $129 or so that Apple charges for an operating system upgrade. So if you mistime it, it's not the end of the world, right? You'll still be able to buy Leopard and install it, and it'll work just as well because, you know, Apple's not going to require new hardware for Leopard. When Apple releases a new version of OS X, which they do pretty much yearly,
Yes.
it's not like when Windows comes out with a new version of Windows and you might need lots more RAM and lots more this and lots more that.
Yes.
They're really more like service packs or minor upgrades.
Okay.
They often add great features. In fact, we're very excited about some of the features of Leopard, things like Time Machine, which allow you to go back in time to a previous setup on your system. Something
Yes.
like System Restore that Windows has, only more like Go Back, where you remember, I don't know if you remember Go Back on Windows, but it would actually restore data as well. I mean, just really
Really?
take. Oh yeah, that's going to be a very nice feature. There are a lot of nice features. There'll be some sort of virtualization built in. However, we don't know when it's going to come out. Well, here's what Apple says. Now, by the way, I should say, we're taping this before the end of the year. It's very possible, but by the time the show airs, Leopard will be out, and I will look like an idiot. So just want everybody to know it isn't out yet as I speak. Apple says it will be out. The only thing they've said so far is it will be out in first quarter, which means could be March 31st, could be January 1st. We don't know. They also said it will be out after Vista, which would indicate after January 31st, which is when Vista comes out. But there's somebody here, I can't remember who it is, who came up to me, and maybe it was Mike, who said, you know what they're going to do? They're going to jump the gun and release it January, was it Sean? January 8th at Mac World Expo and surprise the world and preempt Microsoft. So here's what I would do, Dave. Given that we are taping this again, I want to remind folks before the end of the year. And you can, you know what, it's great. The audience watching this can be the judge of whether I gave Dave good advice or not. Boy, I'm putting myself on the line here, aren't I?
You are? Yes, you are. What else is new?
Yeah, right. Tightrope? What's that? Net? I don't know. I would say always with Apple, it's prudent, even if it weren't for Leopard, before you buy hardware, I always like to wait till the big trade shows. So after, I would wait till, see what Steve Jobs announces January 8th. It's highly unlikely he'll announce any particularly new hardware, but he might. And he might announce Leopard. So you'll at least have a better idea of when Leopard's going to come out. But again, not the end of the world, because you can always buy Leopard.
Super, super. For $130, that's not a bad deal.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Apple's been very smart about this, and they've taken some heat, too. Microsoft waited 5 years before a paid upgrade to Windows XP. 5 years. In that 5 years, Apple's had at least 4 system releases, $129 each time. So, you know, they've been smart. They've been, and I have to say that almost every time it's worth getting. They've added sufficiently, you know, significant features. Tiger was a big upgrade. Panther was a big upgrade. I think Leopard's going to be a big upgrade. So, I wouldn't wait too long. If you really have a hankering to have it now, get it now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, let's go. All right, let's go out. Let's go to the store today. Get it for yourself right now.
Maybe I'll do that.
What are you going to get?
I'm looking at the MacBook Pro 2.16 with 1 gig hard drive on it. So
excellent. Now, what I would do is, do you think you'll ever want to run any of those Windows apps you have?
Well, probably just Office.
Yeah. So you don't want to buy a new Office, right? So here's what I would suggest. Get at least 2 gigabytes of memory. If you get 2 gigabytes of memory, first of all, OS X likes lots of memory. It'll run fine in 1. But if you get 2, then you can also buy this. This is called Parallels Desktop. And you see it's a program running here. You've, I'm sure, heard about it. But it's really...
A guy at work's currently running it.
Oh, so you've seen it. I don't have to show you. And the new one coming out with the coherence mode is amazing. So this is Windows running on the Mac. I press Option Return. Watch this. This is so cool. And now all of a sudden it's Windows full screen on the Macintosh. You can't tell that I'm not running a regular Windows machine. The speed is good. Everything is moving fine. I mean, it's just I think it's a really great solution for somebody who has Windows apps or needs to run Windows apps. Look, I'll run some QuickTime Video. And by the time you get yours, the new coherence version will be out, which means that you're running Windows apps seamlessly with the Mac apps. Here we are running Lab Rats in Windows on top of Mac. I mean, you couldn't get better than this.
No, you couldn't. No, that sounds good. And when's that coming out?
It's out right now, and when you get your Mac Pro, you'll have it. The new coherence version is in beta right now. I'm not sure when that's going to be out, but it'll be a free upgrade, so you don't have to worry about that.
Excellent.
All right, Dave.
Listen, your help's been great. I love the show.
Enjoy your Mac Pro. I think you're going to MacBook Pro. You're going to love that. I'm jealous. I only have a MacBook. I want a MacBook Pro. I want a MacBook Pro. Coming up next, no more buttons, no more wires. A new type of controller that's changing the world of gaming. What makes the Wii so good? Sean Carruthers, our very own lab rat, will show us when we come back. You stay right here. There are three, count them, gaming consoles out there that are vying for your dollars. There is, of course, the Xbox 360, the oldest of the bunch. The PlayStation 3 from Sony, the most expensive of the bunch. And then there's the, well, what we all thought would be the also-ran from Nintendo, the Wii! The new video game system from Nintendo that is, in fact, turning out to be the hottest of all three. Our lab rat, Sean Carruthers, has been working up a sweat and finding muscles he didn't know in his forearm, playing with the Wii. And I have to say, just judging on the reaction from everybody around here who can't wait to get to the Wii, people really love it.
They do, yeah. When it was originally announced that they would be doing this, they were going to call it the Nintendo Revolution, and I think that's really an apt name for the product. It is a revolution in gaming.
Not because, and here it is, of anything inside. It's pretty much the same as the Nintendo GameCube, right?
It's a GameCube squashed and reoriented.
No, not much new hardware in there.
In fact, if you look underneath here, there's actually spots for the controllers and for the memory cards for the GameCube.
And it plays GameCube games.
And it plays
which is actually
GameCube games.
Good news for anybody who's invested in GameCube games. So it has the little cartridge, but it does now play discs, which is a revolution for Nintendo. But more importantly, it has a revolutionary new controller. So let me turn the Wii on. If we'll switch the TV over to the Wii, and I'm going to turn it on here.
You're right, that is very fun to say.
Wii! Yeah, that was the smartest thing Nintendo did. The other thing they did that's smart is it's well below the cost of the other two, right?
Right, yeah, the big news, I mean, the Xbox 360, as you mentioned, has been out for years, so the real battle people were watching this year was the one between the Wii and Sony's PlayStation 3, which came in over $600.
The Wii is
It's about
$250 US.
$250 US, $280 Canadian.
This is really the revolutionary part of the Wii. Actually, there's two controllers. There's a nunchuck and there's the
Wiimote.
Wiimote, and it looks like a Wiimote control, except it's a space-sensitive controller.
Right,
It
yes.
knows when you're moving.
It can sense you in all the different directions.
Early on, there was a recall of these because you do a lot of throwing and stuff, and this little string, I guess, that was holding it to your wrist was apparently breaking. People were breaking their televisions or hurting themselves by throwing the Wiimote. Anyway, if you get one now, it has a much more robust strap, and if you still have the old strap, if you bring it into your dealer, you can get a new strap.
Right.
They do warn you right at the beginning, as always. You see this on every game machine.
Yeah.
Why don't you take us into the Wii here? Now, this is
All right.
the game that is built into the Wii. It has Wii Sports, but you can also, of course, buy additional games.
Yeah, this one actually comes on a CD just like the
Oh,
others
it does.
as well.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's what we're seeing there.
But there is some internal
What is
memory
this
on
other
this.
channel stuff?
Other channel stuff. Well, the one nice thing about this is it actually has an internet connection built in. It has Wi-Fi built in. You can hook it up to your internet connection, and some of these things are built
So you
in.
could you could browse.
Like Me, you can build your own Me. Me is the avatar that you use to interact with the games. Photos you can bring in through the secure digital card on the front. The shop channel, you can actually go to Nintendo and buy
new stuff.
old school games.
Oh, neat.
And forecast
download
the
them.
news. Right, and you can download them
Is there
straight
storage
to
on
the
the thing?
There's a little bit of storage inside, and there's also a secure digital card inside. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to...
Let's play the one. This is
Wii
the free
Sports.
game that you get. Not the greatest graphics, but that's true of all the Wii games. The graphics aren't really
Right.
spectacular. It's just a Nintendo
Yeah,
GameCube.
the Xbox 360 and the PS3 are really selling the high-definition graphics. This one is standard definition.
If you have a high-def TV, you might want an
Right.
Xbox 360.
Right, and this one really is about the gameplay, not about how high resolution it is. So
And
we're
it's
gonna
a great, I would say, just judging for what we've seen, it's a great game system for people who are not hardcore gamers, for families who want to play together. It's fun. Okay, now here's the very important warning.
Yeah, so you mentioned the straps, and you do want to strap on in this case. You might be tempted to just hold the remote in
That's
your
where
hand.
people are getting into trouble.
Right,
They
they're
don't
not
put the
putting it
strap
on properly.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, there's been reports of injuries to people's screens. They're basically throwing their
Well, in the
remotes right
baseball
through the
game,
screens.
you
Yeah,
throw.
You throw, and we'll
you
show
throw
you that in a
fast.
second. But people are letting the remote slip through their hands, so wipe your hands off if you sweat a little bit.
And no Cheetos.
Don't eat the Cheetos. Don't eat the bucket of chicken.
Right.
Just make sure your hands are dry and clean.
No McNuggets before you Wii.
Right. So let's start out with baseball since you mentioned
Or
that.
wash your hands before you Wii.
And,
Which is kind of the reverse of the normal instruction, isn't it?
Right, so we've got a sensor underneath the screen right there. That's to help with positioning. These remotes actually connect to, so I'll actually have you hit 1 and 2. We're adding a remote here.
Okay, 1 and 2 is at the bottom.
1 and 2 is at the bottom here. So
And that's telling it that I'm here.
Yeah,
Should I aim it at the Wii?
No, you only have to hit it once. It takes a few seconds
These
to
things,
kick in.
it just buzzed at me.
And there we
Okay.
go. So now it buzzed. It gave you a bit of force feedback to let you know that it's your...
Something missing,
turn.
by the way, from the PlayStation 3. No force feedback. That's crazy talk. Crazy talk. Just paid
select the number of
$700
players
for
here.
a game console that have force feedback.
So
That's a
you-
little rumbling.
So there's one Me that we've set up. I'm going to choose guest because we need 2 here. I'm going to hit yes. You've got 2 main controllers here. You have the choice of going left or
So
right-handed, which
tennis,
is nice.
baseball, bowling, golf, or boxing. It's important to choose the correct hand because you will in fact be using your hand.
Okay, so now we need you to choose yours. You hit. You have to aim at the screen.
Okay.
Choose that, and
And I'm a lefty. Which game are we playing? Does it matter? I'll just select them all.
yeah. Yeah, there we go. So I think we're good now.
I'm going to do everything left because I'm a lefty.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna play with these knees. We're gonna hit OK. Again, make sure there are no people or
They
objects around
really
you.
know. They knew there was something
Yeah.
with these things because they warn
Yeah.
you. Now this is the third warning.
You need space to do this because it really is active. So it's a little bit tricky because it gets kids that need exercise exercising.
Press A and B. What's
So A and
is
B are
underneath?
the trigger on the
Okay.
bottom and the one on the tops.
Okay.
So
Well, this is really the kind of thing that the family will get into. Now, it only comes with one Wiimote, so you might end up wanting
Yeah.
to buy two. If you find them in the
Yeah.
store, buy a second one.
you'll definitely want to do that because the interactivity here is.
How much
is
are the
nice.
Wiimotes?
They're about $40.
They're not expensive. Okay.
Yeah. So and the nice thing
How
here
much are
is
the games, by the way?
the games are about $60 Canadian,
Boy, did
50
they
US.
take you on the game.
And
But
of
that's
course,
less than PlayStation and Xbox.
right, and it'll depend on the game that you have as well. So,
Am I pitching?
I'm batting, and you're
Okay.
pitching. So,
Okay, so swing the remote overhand to pitch.
Yeah, so there we
Arm to
go.
pitch with plus. Oh, wow.
so
I
you
should pitch better.
you really get into this.
Yeah, that was a breaking ball. I fooled you.
Haha.
All right, fastball.
Okay, let's go.
Right over the middle. Okay.
Right,
Hey,
so-
this is fun.
So you can see that you're really getting into the spirit of the game.
And it's physical. You're really doing something.
Now this
With
is
tennis, you would be doing your tennis normal. Oh, whoa. I didn't mean now you see the problem.
Yeah,
That's a good pitch, though.
it is definitely sensitive. But the one thing that I want to mention about this
Yes!
is that
Already it's fun.
right. So you're definitely getting involved in this in a very physical fashion.
Which is neat. You stand up. This
Right.
is not a sit-down game machine.
It's not a sit-down game machine, but one of the things that's worth mentioning here is you'll be tempted to play this game like crazy the first day you get.
And we've all had
Yeah.
Wii injuries.
Yes, so your shoulder will ache, your elbow will ache, and oh, don't try to sneak one past me. There we go.
Oh no! Oh, he hit my curveball. Wait a minute, straight up though.
Oh,
Single.
got a single. I'm on base, so I'm happy.
So I don't do any fielding. It's just pitching and hitting.
Nope.
Surprisingly fun. Oh,
Right.
what do we
And
do with these?
Just really quickly, we have something here
They
called
call them the
the nunchuck. You hook the nunchuck into the bottom of your Wiimote. It's also positional sensing here. And you can use it when you need two hands. So if you're playing the boxing game, you can do
That would
both
be
of these
fun.
things.
That would- whoa,
well, we're
sorry.
still playing baseball, but yeah, it's the same sort of idea. You're working with both hands. It's sensing position.
Now, these are the sports games, which make a lot of sense.
Right.
Bowling, you bowl just like you would regularly bowl. When you
Right.
play a game like, say, Zelda or a truck driving game,
Yeah. Well, the truck driving one is a bit of an exception because you can actually hold it like a
Steer
steering,
like a steering wheel.
With
funny.
with something like Zelda, you're playing a little bit more like hit A, move around.
So
on the
it's
screen,
more of
blah,
a
blah, blah.
traditional game.
Right, but when you get into it further on, when you're doing sword play, you actually can do this. You have the nunchuck, and you can
Oh, so you're really
shield.
fighting in there.
You really
This
get
might
active
actually
and
be
into
good for kids. Get them up off their butt and doing some exercise.
I agree.
And there is a more standard Wii controller.
Yeah.
That's also an add-on, right?
That's
You
an
have to buy
add-on, so you
that.
can use that with the old school games that you buy and download from Nintendo.
Or the old games that you have from your GameCube that you
Right.
put in there. I have to say, the Wii is turning out to be the surprise hit of the season. It is clearly the most fun to play.
It's-
If you're a hardcore gamer or you have a high-def TV, you might want to choose one of the others. But the
Yeah,
Wii
it's
is
not about the
blast.
graphics; it's about the games.
Yeah. Sean Carruthers is the tech researcher on this show, our own lab rat. We love having him here. For more, by the way, he's also on the Lab Rats podcast at labrats.tv. We've got you
Yes, sir.
with our good friend Andy Walker. For more about the Wii, read over Sean's show notes at callforhelptv.com. I'm surprised you were able to write anything with your the sore arm.
It was hard.
Now, let's bowl on over. I gotta get man Wiimote to today's quiz of the day. Whoa, whoa! What's the typical range of human hearing? Is it 1 kilohertz, 12 to 12 kilohertz, 18 kilohertz to 22 kilohertz, 20 to 20, 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, or your voice hurts my ears? Get to the website, give us the answer. We'll talk about it when Call for Help continues. Already, there's negotiating going on over who gets the Wii.
I'm stealing it. I'm taking it home. But it's settled.
I can understand that, but I don't think it was really too kind to say, "Hey, Sean, if you die, can I have your Wii?" I mean, I think that was really going a little too far. You like it, huh?
I do like it.
You got a little sore?
I do. I'm sore right here and then right here.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, and I just played 2 games. That's it.
Well, me too, and I feel it from just the
Just
little bit
the
I did.
one, yeah.
I do think that you're doing things with your hand because that Wiimote is so light that you would not probably do in normal circumstances.
Right.
And there may be, I think over time, I mean, it's pretty new, we won't know yet, but I think there may be some unusual injuries from just weird things that people are doing.
Yeah.
Although then I think I did, you do kickboxing, which is, light, so.
Right.
I don't know. Be careful with the Wii. Hey, if it gets kids up and exercising,
That's
great.
what's so cool about it. And even for adults, I mean, a lot of us don't have time to work out, so this will get us to work out.
Okay, let's see. There's a Wii Fitness Challenge, in this thing, and we're going to try it out at the end of the show.
Yeah,
You and me,
yeah.
we'll see who's fit.
I'm betting you're going to be more fit than I am.
Oh gosh, if you're not as fit as a 50-year-old man who has a few extra pounds, Callie, you're in deep trouble. Let's get our first call on the show here. Our
We
second
have
call.
Ted from Winnipeg, Manitoba. I tripped over myself
You
there.
can't even mess up Winnipeg. Hey, how are you, Ted?
I'm just fine, thank you.
Welcome to Call for Help. What can I do for you today?
Well, I know in past shows you've mentioned on how well the Macintosh runs with runs Windows through Parallels.
Right.
And so I thought, well, that'd be maybe a great way to try and get Linux working.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I noticed on the Parallels website they actually had a Linux version, which I tried downloading, and I spent a few hours.
No. But you're running on a Mac or you're running on a
I'm
Linux?
running it on a PC.
Oh, I
Windows-based,
see.
And I want
Okay.
to actually run Linux and then have Windows come up as a secondary program on Linux.
Oh, no, yeah. I don't know if you can do that. I think you can run Linux on Windows. That's actually a really good question.
Well, they do on the Parallels website. They do have a download for Linux, but I spent a few hours trying to get it running, and I couldn't get it to configure, and I thought, well, maybe I'm just barking up the wrong tree, and there's a better way around that.
Well, let's see. Okay. Primary OS support, guest OS support.
It says Parallels Workstation 2.2 for Win and Linux.
Yeah, it says it will run all. Now, you have to use these particular Linuxes, although Ubuntu is not in the list, and we've run Ubuntu on it.
Okay.
If using Linux as a primary OS, you have to have these, glibc, GCC, X window.
Yeah.
You've got all that Qt installed, all
And
that.
I started trying to install those, and I kept running into more errors, and I thought, well, maybe I'm just barking up the wrong tree.
No, it'll do it. It's just that you haven't. So you need to make sure that you have all of the features that it's
Sure.
required. This is always a trouble with Linux. Is frequently these are called what they call dependencies.
Mm-hmm.
Frequently, a program will have some dependencies. These are fairly common things. Which Linux are you using?
I was trying to use it on SUSE.
Okay. SUSE, you should be able to use the, what is it? Is it LAST? What is the SUSE installer? I can't remember.
YAST.
YAST, I mean, not LAST, YAST. So you should be able to use YAST to install glibc. GCC should be included if you've installed any development packages. If not, install the development packages. I'm sure you're running X window. XF86 vidmode extension. I'm not sure if that's installed by default or not. And the XKB extension. And then Qt probably on SUSE, that may not be installed. So you've really got to get these little libraries installed.
Okay.
If you're using KDE or GNOME, you may not have Qt
I
installed.
was trying it through KDE, but I...
Yeah, I
you
think
wanted
that
to
these
switch-
are. So what you're saying is you haven't successfully installed these libraries.
No, I'm not. I guess not, because I've got the package installed, but then the last step is to run a configuration step, and it always crashes at that
Yeah.
point.
So okay, so what? First of all, there's two ways to install software on Linux. One is to install a binary. And one is to install from source code and whether build it yourself. That's something you don't have available in Windows usually. Windows almost always is installing a binary package. I would try to do binary installs on all of these, and then it'll be much easier for you.
Okay.
Make sure you get the binary install for the SUSE version you're using. There can be differences. If, however, you don't have a binary install, you will have to build from source, which means for sure you'll have to have at least GCC and glib installed. And building from source sometimes can involve other dependencies that you'll need. Watch carefully when you run the configure step to see what it says it's missing. The last few lines are usually the error codes, and it'll say, I can't continue because you don't have this. And this is where it can get really, are you new to Linux?
Fairly, yes.
Yeah, this is where, this is what the joy of learning Linux is all I can say. You might want to try installing Ubuntu or running because Ubuntu might do a little bit better job.
Okay.
Although I like SUSE a lot, and SUSE is very complete.
Seems to, from the little I've played, I've had it as a dual boot, and it seems to do almost everything I want, but there's just a few programs that I'd still like to run
Yeah,
that are
and wouldn't it be
Windows-based.
nice? Now, you'd still have to install Windows and everything.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I have not tried Parallels on Linux because usually I'm running Linux in Parallels on the Mac.
On the Mac.
Or I'm running it on PC hardware, or I'm running it native on Mac hardware.
Is there any other software or approach I should try that might work better than
well, there's
Parallels?
another program, and it's much more expensive than Parallels, called VMware.
Okay.
Which is kind of older and been around a lot longer, but I suspect the same requirements
Okay.
would be needed. So I would just work on a little bit more.
Sure.
This is very common with Linux installs that you got to get all these libraries working.
Yeah.
Until you've got them all installed, don't even bother with Parallels. You've got to have these requirements down first.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just mess with it. Read the how-tos. Which particular one does it seem to fail on?
Oh boy, I can't even tell you offhand.
Oh yeah, okay. So it's not going well.
No. I had that all printed out but I don't have it in front of me right now.
Yeah, I would say start with the binaries for SUSE if you can find them. Then do the builds. The builds will tell you what other dependencies are required. You may have other dependency needs.
Okay.
This is just the top level stuff you've got to have working. Okay.
I guess my thought was if Linux came pre-packaged with that type of capability, it would really help move it more into the mainstream.
It might, but of course this is a commercial package, so they're not going to do that.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Once you get Parallels installing, the beauty of that is there is a bunch. If you go back to the Parallels website, there are a bunch of pre-installed Linux installations. You won't have to, or you won't have to. Oh, you can't do it with Windows though. So never mind. Forget what I said. Yeah, Windows you'll have to buy and do by hand. But once you get it running, I think you'll find it's wonderful.
Oh, great.
Take a look at VMware. They have a trial.
Okay.
VMware.com might be easier to get working.
Okay, I'll give that a shot.
That's the one that's been around for the longest. Thanks, Ted.
Great. Thank you, Leo.
Take care.
Bye.
That's just kind of part of living with Linux, I guess. All right, get ready for something that the internet world has been gossiping about for over a year. I have to admit, I was skeptical. The Optimus keyboard, Art Lebedev's, what looked like an April Fool's joke to me, is actually getting here. Callie has a very early unit, and she's going to give us a review. I'm very excited about this. Callie Lewis coming up when Call for Help continues. Stay right here. Many people don't know I do the part of that song. It's great. What a recording session we had. The only thing we missed is cowbell. We need more cowbell. We've all been a little skeptical, as I have been skeptical, of Art Lebedev's infamous Optimus keyboard. Frankly, I thought it was a hoax. A beautiful keyboard with, instead of real keys, screens for each key, so it's completely programmable. The keys changing depending on what application you're using. Well, maybe it isn't a hoax. Callie Lewis is here today with, well, not the full keyboard, not even a product that's for sale, but a prototype of the Optimus Mini 3, a miniature version of that keyboard, proving that it works anyway.
Yes.
Now, this is not for sale yet.
Yes, it is.
Oh, this is?
From ThinkGeek.
ThinkGeek's selling it.
Yeah, 160.
160.
See, the keyboard is supposed to be, like you said, gorgeous, gorgeous
Can I
with
peel the
brushed
plastic
steel.
off?
Yeah,
You
take
sure?
it off. Yeah, ThinkGeek wants it back, but
Well, no, they expect us to peel the plastic off.
go for it.
No, we got to do that because you
and-
got to see what it would be like in real.
It's not quite as beautiful as they looks like it's supposed to be. This, they can control anything you want. It doesn't work as their proof of concept as what they're expecting the
You wouldn't
whole
type
keyboard
on this,
to be.
that's for sure. Oops.
Oh yeah, see you pressed. And it's
Now,
controlling iTunes.
you see the little strobing there? That's only on your TV. We don't see that here in the studio. It's rock solid, right?
What?
You don't even see it, so you don't know what I'm talking
What?
about.
No.
Look over at the monitor and you'll see that it's kind of flickering.
Oh, yeah.
But that's introduced by our cameras.
Sorry, I'm-
That's because it's at a different, which is interesting. It means it's not at a 60 hertz frame rate. It's at a different frame rate than the cameras.
This
Okay, so
is
this
for animations. It's 3 frames per second.
That's why. Okay.
So
a
it's
little bit
pretty
of
low.
flickering.
And it's also a 96 by 96 resolution. So they're going to have to do, a little better for it to get looking like they have it on their website.
Hey, at least they're a real company.
Oh, absolutely.
I thought the whole thing was like a performance art.
But it works really well as a little gadget, just to play around with and have a little bit of fun.
Show us how we
And
use it.
go
Now,
ahead.
you
I'm
start
gonna-
with what's on your screen. Is this Mac only or is this PC and
No,
Mac?
it's both PC and Mac. I'm on Parallels at the moment.
So you're running Windows,
It
okay.
works better let's see, I changed it for you here because you can control it. So now it's play slots. Well, they went away.
Oh, I can play slots. I can
you
do a
can
slot
play
machine
slots.
with it.
And I don't think you actually
Here, show
win
this, show
anything
this.
as far as I can.
Ching, ching, ching.
And it keeps going, and you can play slots. So you can do all sorts of things.
Wow.
If we take a look at the
7 cherries.
Oh.
Hey,
oh,
it's
sorry.
not away. We won't know if I won or not.
So here at the screen,
I don't know
we can. I don't think you did. I never have.
Yeah, I don't know where the money would come out.
Yeah, exactly. You can make it do whatever you want. Here's the default, and that's what's always displaying, unless you hit the Control key or the Alt key. Then you can make it, like I have it set to show the time in Moscow.
So
and
at
the
any
weather.
given time, there can be 3 different screen faces: the Alt, Control, and Normal.
Correct.
Okay, and now you're showing
And you
weather
can
and
actually do
temperature. That's kinda
Shift,
neat.
you can do Alt Shift, Control Shift. Now these layouts, these are only for the default. You can't do the Control or Shift. But really useful things if you are in Internet Explorer,
Show us what we could do in Internet
which you
Explorer.
shouldn't be doing in Internet
We
Explorer.
got the back key.
Right, the back.
We've got reload.
reload.
And what is that? Right.
And new window.
Okay.
So, and then you can do Gmail Notifier,
that's kinda
cut,
cool.
copy,
Back,
and paste is
reload,
kind of
and
cool.
reload, yeah.
You can do all sorts of things, really only in Windows right now. Actually, I got to the hotel last night and saw that they had a Mac version up. It's in alpha. So it really doesn't have too much yet, but it will. So I'm having fun with it. It's not
I wish we
what I
could
hope the keyboard will be.
Yeah. Yeah, and there, there are issues with OLEDs getting
Yeah.
dim very quickly, and I don't know if they'd be robust enough, although this seems pretty robust.
Yeah.
And I could see you putting this, kind of on your desk, and, hitting that,
Yeah,
getting used to
playing
that.
slots while at work.
They plan also a larger one with 9 keys, 3x3.
Yes, I have that here actually. And this is, from the pictures, like everything they have is gorgeous.
Oh, it's 4x3, so it's 12 keys.
yeah. And this is just a monitor you would use as a keyboard, and just
This is
if you're in different applications, it would work.
This is why I thought it was a scam. Look at that. That is what we call a
Yeah.
Photoshop illustration.
Well, aren't they
They're
like
Photoshop masters,
experts?
and that's why I'm always a little suspicious. But boy, they've figured it out. They've got one running, and it
got
works
one.
via USB, available from ThinkGeek.com. You said $160
Right.
US. A little pricey, but you'd be the first on your block
Exactly.
to own an Art Lebedev original. Pretty neat, and it's invented and designed by Art Lebedev Studio, Moscow, Russia. www.artlebedev.com.
Yep.
I'm blown away.
It's fun.
I never thought I would actually hold one. Get links and more at callforhelptv.com. Of course, Callie Lewis is on geekbrief.tv, part of the Pod Show Network. Well worth watching, and I bet you're going to do a review of this on Geek
I'm
Brief.
sure I will.
Yes, I bet. We'll be right back, but first let's see if they've got an Art Lebedev original in our control room. I bet they don't.
Our switch is better.
8 commercial, 7, 6.
Stand by. Turn the icon, please.
Welcome back to Call for Help. I'm shocked and stunned and amazed. Callie Lewis, you are the best. You come up with some great stuff. And I appreciate your dragging it all the way up here from Dallas, Texas. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm building my muscles.
Yeah, your wee muscles. She's getting ready for our fitness test at
Yes.
the end of the show. No studying up now.
Okay.
No preparing.
I'll just sit in my chair like a good geek.
yeah. Just relax. It's okay. Let's get our next caller on.
Okay, we have Paul from La Crescenta, California.
Hello, Paul. How are you?
Hi, very good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well. Welcome to Call for Help.
Thanks.
What can I do for you?
Okay, yeah, I have a computer that I've had about 2 years.
Okay.
About 3 months ago, 4 months ago, it would just reset, just in the middle of. I do stock market stuff, so I get quite a large feed coming in,
All
and
right.
it would just go into reset and just restart.
So you're working along, you're not doing anything, and boom, it turns itself off in effect and on again.
Yeah. Now I'm also usually I'm on the internet. I've got a few things open. I've got a few windows open.
Right.
Because-
If you could reproduce the conditions that caused it, that would be one way to try to track it down. If it was always the same program, for instance, that you were running,
Right.
But it sounds like it's a little bit more unpredictable than that.
Well, here's something that happened only just last week. It's just right in the middle of the week. It seized, and that's the first time it's seized
Okay.
while I've been operating.
Yeah.
Now, I've done pretty much the same this week, and no seizing or nothing. Like you said, I've tried to reproduce it. I've opened loads of windows, as many windows as I could get open. No problem.
Well, there are, of course, there's a wide range of things that could cause this, from software to hardware. So if it were, for instance, a program that had a bug in it that was writing to a particular part of memory, by the way, Vista is going to do this. People should get ready, because if a program on Vista 64, you're not running XP or Vista 64, are you, by any chance?
I'm running I'm running XP, Windows XP.
32-bit, not 64-bit.
Oh. You got me there.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. You would
I
know.
doubt it.
Believe me, you'd know if it's 64-bit. If on 64-bit with the new kernel protection, if a program does something wrong, this is exactly what happens. Windows stops working; it shuts down. But that's not what's going on here. This is more of a system crash. Yeah, I mean, almost always my first instinct on when I hear something like this is a overheating problem. The seizure in particular is common of overheating. A processor will actually stop if it gets too hot and stop working and seize up. And that actually is protective. It's intentional, so it doesn't get any hotter.
Would that also cause a restart, though?
Restarts generally are not caused, well, they could be caused by overheating, but they're often caused by software, and that's why it's a little confusing. It's hard to figure out exactly what's going on here. There's a lot of things that could be causing it. I would suggest backing up and restoring and replacing Windows. That will fix any obvious flaws. Are you using any oddball software, or is it just a browser?
Just a browser, it's Firefox.
Yeah, it could be bad memory, so that when you get enough things, and you obviously sussed to that because you said, well, let me open up a lot of windows and see if it's that. You worked it hard and it didn't fail. I mean, it's just a really hard one to pinpoint. Sean, do you want to chime in with some suggestions?
Yeah, one of the things that's worth checking out is if you've installed any special system or special helper applications, any free files, anything like that.
That could be crashing it.
If it started after you installed something like that, then
Right.
it may be something like that. It doesn't have to be running actively when you when the system crashes. So it may look like there's nothing running on your system, but there might be a helper app in the background that's just waiting for that program to fire up.
This is one of those things where it's just going to take some diagnostics. I'm going to suggest a program called Motherboard Monitor. It's a little inexpensive app called, or MBM. It's from mbm.livewiredev.com. On most motherboards, not all, but on most motherboards, this allows you to, while you're running the machine, monitor the temperature. And you should keep an eye on the temperature, because if it's spiking up above, it'd have to be pretty hot, up above 50 or 60 degrees centigrade, that could be an indicator that there's something wrong with the that the cooling isn't working properly. You might want to go inside, make sure it's not covered with dust, that you've got the fans, all the fans are working, that there's clear air pathway through the case, things like that.
Paul, do you have
I
pets?
actually went in and vacuumed the whole thing.
Ah,
out.
good man.
Oh,
You're
good,
way
good.
ahead of us. All right, that's good.
That's what I was going to suggest.
That's a very good idea, because you get a layer of dust over everything that'll cause shutdowns. And it can't just be a flaky PC that it's just end of life. Sometimes, or was a
I
lemon.
hope not.
I know it's bad news, but that can happen.
Right.
They're not
Can I have
endlessly.
Can I ask you one more question?
Yeah, of course,
This
Paul.
is regarding Firefox. When I print, I have a small network, just a couple of computers. I used to be able to print fine from Firefox. Now, for some reason, Firefox won't let me print a web page. Now, I can print if I go to Internet Explorer. I can print to my printer via Internet Explorer or any other program except Firefox.
Did all of this begin when you went to Firefox 2?
I think so.
Yeah. How about the crashing? Same thing?
It could have been.
Firefox
How
2
long's
has been
Firefox 2 been out?
Yeah, it's been a little buggy. This might be time to downgrade to 1.5.1 or whatever the last version of Firefox was. Firefox 2, I have noticed, has caused some problems, unfortunately.
So you can downgrade?
Yeah, you can. It's just a program like any other. So what you do is uninstall it, go back to the Firefox site, and they still offer older versions of Firefox. I'll be honest with you, Internet Explorer 7 is probably safe to use now. I mean, I was always very nervous about Internet Explorer 6. 7, they've made some real improvements, and it's probably safe to use. And you might just try using that instead of Firefox.
That's,
I hate to say that. It kills me to say it. But I think Firefox 2 has some real problems. And you're encountering them. Not with everybody. I use it all the time, and it's been fine.
Right.
But I have heard stories of Firefox 2 causing all sorts of strange problems on people's machines. It may not have been ready for prime time.
I think that's about the only change I'd made to the
I bet
computer
that's
yet.
it. Try uninstalling it, going back if you want, or using Internet Explorer 7.
Right, thanks very much.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate the call. That's
right,
one
have a
thing
good
we
day.
can, one service we do provide, because we hear a lot of tech support stories. We kind of aggregate them in our heads, Sean and I and the team. And after a while, you start to say, we keep hearing problems with Firefox 2, and I have heard quite a few now. I'm starting to wonder if there's some issues. If your head is chock full of cool film and TV ideas, you want to stick around. We're going to show you some software that'll help you get those thoughts organized so you can make your dream project a reality show. In fact, we'll tell you some stories about people who've done just that. But first, the quiz question of the day. What's the typical range of human hearing? 1 to 12 kilohertz, 18 to 22, 20 to 20, or your voice hurts my ears? Get to the website, give us the answer. We'll talk about it. One call for help continues. Sweep sine wave going here. What is the typical range of human hearing? Is it 1 kilohertz to 12, 18 hertz to 22 kilohertz, 20 to 20, or your voice hurts my ears? Well, certainly when they make speakers, they attempt to hit the 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz range. And that's, I think, what we were going for here. But I doubt. Oh, listen. Here it goes. Don't go any higher than 10, though, because it'll hurt my ears. Most humans now no longer have hearing, I think, about 15 to 16 kilohertz. But that's the range, 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. And yes, there are some humans who can hear that very high-pitched tone. Nobody over the age of 15, I think. And certainly nobody who listened to rock and roll, as I did when I was a youth. I probably can't hear over 10 kilohertz. Let's talk about screenwriting. You know, I just read a story in the paper today about the guy who created CSI.
Right.
He was a tram driver in Las Vegas. He used to write a few things for his friends, his monologues. Somebody said, these are pretty good. You ever think of writing a screenplay? Now, 8 years later, he is the creator of 3 big hit television series. I bet you anything he uses this program. Mohit is here to join us. He is Movie Mohit, and our great segment producer. Let me pronounce. Hear me here pronounce your last name, though.
Rajans.
Rajans. I never
Yes.
I see the spelling, and then when I hear you, I can get it. Rajans.
Or Rajan. in Quebec.
Rajan. Mohit Rajan. So you doing a little screenwriting,
Yeah,
are you?
definitely.
How'd you come on this program?
See, it's interesting. This was I was pointed to Final Draft almost by mistake. It's kind of a baptism by fire thing. What happened was I had a story pitch to Robert Townsend, a director,
Wow,
very famous
yeah,
director,
yeah.
and I was lucky enough to get past, to the final round. And he said, "Okay, I'm ready. I want to read your script." And of course, it was in Word. And so when I printed 120 pages in Word, my alignments were off,
Right.
and so it took me about a day just to fix everything. And I finally handed it to him, and he still found errors in it. And so finally, he
It
said,
has to look a certain way,
right,
doesn't
it
it?
definitely does, and that's the one reason I found Final Draft. Or one of the things that happened was he pointed me towards Final Draft, and he said, "Listen, if you use the old-fashioned way, you should definitely check out the software." And that was Final Draft 4 at the time. So it was just templates.
Just out of curiosity, what happened to the script?
The script is definitely it's in development. Charles.
Aha, yeah, I like that. Now it's Final Draft 6?
This is 7.
7. Okay.
And when you open up a new screenplay in Final Draft, what's interesting now is half the work is already done for you. What you have here is, look at this. You have a BBC screenplay, BBC screenplay for TV.
These all have their own special
Exactly.
formatting.
And that's the biggest problem. So let's say you have a biography on your film that you're trying to pitch right now. You have to know exactly who you're pitching for. You can't just walk into BBC with an
Right.
NBC type or Warner Brothers type script.
Turn up their noses and say, forget it.
Exactly. And
Will they
that-
really? I mean, is it that important that it look exactly right?
Biggest mistake amateur screenwriters and screenwriters like myself still make is that you don't know where you're pitching to.
Right.
So you think to yourself, oh, everybody will.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I have this error. It doesn't matter if I write in slang. All of these templates are designed to help you alleviate those problems. Sometimes you only get one chance, right?
Yeah, yeah, you
So it
wanna
is
look right.
interesting because even from a template standpoint, if you look at this, it breaks it down from the way screenplays are read at Warner Brothers versus Cole and Hay.
That's
So-
crazy.
Yeah, and half of the work is done for you. The other good thing I really like about this with TV templates, etc., is it never lets you get, like, look at some of these favorite shows that you're thinking about. wanting to emulate. So Cold Case, Commander-in-Chief, Coronation Street, there is a way.
Even their scripts are unique.
Right. So there's a way, for example, that you can understand how.
Now let's look at this. This is a script.
Yeah, so this is a script, and it has to be in this format so that you understand exactly where you're, what format you're about to shoot in. And of course, the most interesting thing about something like Coronation Street is their commercial breaks are different. So you need to know what you have to get to by a certain time versus an American
We'll do
sitcom.
that. Just do that too. Give you timings, word counts, that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
definitely. And the other thing it will do is it'll recommend things like, say you've already used a character's name. Oftentimes you won't think about the fact that, oh, I called somebody else Sarah in my
Right.
rough draft or whatever. It'll come up with pointers that will say, hey, you've already used this name, or why don't you try this name? And it makes writing a lot easier. Where I struggle with it sometimes is that it doesn't necessarily acknowledge, you know how in conversation sometimes we use slang?
Right.
So in script format, there's slang, obviously, as well. And the problem there is it doesn't give you the ability to get past that. It recommends other words, like a spell checker. Or
Right.
whatever.
It should really know all the slang for
Right.
scripts.
So Final Draft is definitely one of the ones that
You said there's two versions of
yeah,
this.
and
AV
that's-
as well.
There is a different one that
We have
I
about
am-
30 seconds left.
Oh, okay.
These things are short, aren't they?
Yeah.
You don't know when you're booking people. They're short.
The interesting thing I'll just point out about Final Draft AV, which is another application, is it's meant for the radio, TV, and even podcast world. So the great part about this is that when you're writing commercials and you're doing pitches right
look at
now,
that.
it's perfectly designed so that you know exactly how to pitch it properly.
Mac and Windows.
Mac and Windows.
As
or
easy to use as a word processor.
the funny thing is they say Mac and Widows in the
There's a little typo.
tutorial.
You would never know.
Yeah.
How much is it roughly? I mean, that's going to vary.
$199 American, which
Very
is
reasonable.
pricey. But use the demo. The demo is free,
Okay.
and first 15 pages is free, and you can register online as well too, so to get updates. So it's neat software.
Mohit Rajans is our great segment producer and screenwriter, and I can't wait to go to your first movie opening. The lights, the red carpet, the whole deal. You've seen him also covering movies and doing other journalistic endeavors on CBC National Radio, Omni TV, and of course MohitMovies.com, which is his own site. You'll find out more about Final Draft. I want to say Final Cut.
Everybody
Final
does
Draft at callforhelptv.com. Final thoughts right after this. Stay right here. Oh, we're doing the Wii Fitness test. I want to see if Callie's in good shape. Then I'll just watch. Hey, we thank you for being here on the show. Go ahead and keep going.
I don't know.
You got a bowl. Okay,
Oh.
just bowl. Bowl! If you
I
got a
am.
problem,
I'm not fit.
press the
hold
A
on, B.
switch.
I
Press the A
am.
switch and then bowl. Like that.
Oh,
Oh, hold on, B.
B.
ah, bah!
If you've got a problem with your Wii or your personal confuser, don't whine, don't moan, don't yelp, just call for help.
Oh,
See you
bye.
later. Go on, bowl. Press A.